Right, hello and welcome back to Horizon Forbidden West. So, we have got a Valor Surge now. So, we've got the tooltip here, so they are extremely powerful. They're abilities that can instantaneously turn the tide of a fight. Build up your Valor Surge bar and unleash the ultimate power. Earn Valor through tactical gameplay, and when a segment of the Valor Surge bar is full, activate the Valor Surge by opening the weapon wheel and tapping R1. Unlock additional levels of a Valor Surge in the skill tree to add segments to it and gain extra effects. I only equip one. What are points now activate? Right, guess so at the moment. How many of them there are? You think I'd be able to equip more than one, wouldn't you? But I hope that's not the case. Right. Let's head back to the camp. And when we're there, we'll see if we can do some upgrades. Because I've had a little check, we can't actually do anything about the, yeah, there's nothing to actually be done with the coils and things like that in the game at the moment. I can't actually do anything with equipable weaves and coils and stuff due to basically there's no slots on my weapons and equipment that I can use unless I upgrade them. So that's what I'm going to do, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We live in hope. I'll leave us outside so no one freaks out. Ow! You just turn around and see that happening. Really? Ugh. It sent me all the way back here, hadn't it? I don't have to re-loot the... No, the item boxes are all looted. Okay. Good. Good, good, good. I'll still gather a few of these. Send them to my stash and whatnot. Only took a second to get there. Of course, now I have to go and exact my revenge. Wouldn't be right if I didn't. Got to go and exact my revenge on them. Oh! Stop. Right, there we go. Search wild boar. Nice. Some decent stuff. Right.
Pain subsiding.
And mount fight. Or is he just gonna run away? Okay, he's running away. He's not. What's in here, eh? Something special from the looks. Right, let's... What have we got?
Hi. Ah, there you are. I happen to receive another visit from Olvin himself. He was pushy, but I stood my ground. And dare I say it, I even got my own back. Yes, I did.
I'm listening.
When I made his meal, I used 3 pinches of salt. Instead of 2.
Each journey begins with a single step, I guess. I think I have everything you asked for.
Then just as you have inspired me, let us see if I can return the favor. Time to cook.
Oh man, if it's like one of them cutscenes off of Monster Hunter, except without the cats, so clearly not as good. But what do we get? Something good? Something good?
Wow.
Permanent stat upgrade?
That was
Maybe?
inspired.
Next time you want the best provisions, you know where to find me. Your next order of any dish will be on.
Thanks. And don't forget to stand up for yourself.
Funny you should say that. As it happens, I'm already cooking up my next portion of resistance. Hope to see you again.
Then he poisoned him. So we do seem to be getting it from quests, these skill points. Food provides temporary benefits and skill boosts. But it's meal reduce your concentration recovery time. The ingredients are cooked throughout the world to purchase food. Only one food effect can be active at a time. So yeah, it's like a food thing from it's like Monster Hunter.
Would be a good idea to stock up on some food before I head back out.
Nice, interesting. Okay.
Whatever's cooking up.
And I think the others I didn't actually have to hand them in, did I? To Brink and the bristlebacks. Okay. Now, how did I get in that building that on the side of this? Ah, so this is what that
No one wants come to revel in some strike, sister? Let me set the board.
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces?
No.
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark. I'll give you
So
something
we're playing a
special
board
if you win
game
all my
then.
boards too.
And then we're gonna go and hunt down a load of bristlebacks and find out what blew up the place. Sounds good. Beginner's tutorial. Tutorials, challenges. Okay.
All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from, and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Gotta move that machine forward. Move that machine forward. It's all part of the learn.
Okay, I'll
Just
move
need
it.
to move.
I am moving it. Right. Move. Press X.
Gotta move that machine forward.
I'm tapping X. I've moved it forwards. I'm
Just
tapping
need
X.
to
She's being
move that machine
condescending.
forward, Red.
Why? Oh, it's wanting to go to
Easy
the
enough, huh?
highlighted one.
Now, you get to
Oh.
move 2 machines each round. So go ahead and pick a second machine.
Yes, there we go.
Perfect.
Not that I
There's
should
not
move
much else
there
to do for
because
now, so just
clearly-
end your turn. You have to end your turn there, Red. We're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces.
because you can move
here.
2 and then attack. So it's literally deliberately told me to make a mistake, hasn't it?
And we're
Not
back
that
to you.
she's
This
doing
time,
anything
why
else,
don't you try
right?
attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first.
Yeah,
Now,
grab-
when performed, you'll be
Got it.
testing your machine's combat power against the opponent. A machine's combat power is a combination of the terrain your machine is standing on and its own attack power. This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat power. And your current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power equals 2 points. Since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power. And just like your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So right now, the difference in combat power between the 2 machines is 2 points. This means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that?
Okay, kill the thing. Got it.
Knew you were
Oh, you
a
have
smart
to-
one.
Yep, come on.
Finish up by attacking my machine.
Kill the thing.
Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You try it out. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see. That's about it for your turn then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move down. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But If you overcharge your machine, you can attack a second. And by the look of your machine's health, you'd be sacrificing your piece to defeat mine. But sometimes, that can be a good thing. Overcharge your machine to attack.
And
Ain't that a thrill?
got him.
Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner! That wasn't so
Yay.
hard, was it? Just remember, you'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that. I know it saved my behind in a game or two.
Okay.
Try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn the game in your favor, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. You know, I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're...
Thanks.
Okay. What have we got? Train and knockback tutorial, machine types and skills tutorial. We can have a look. Let's have a look. So, beginner set.
I knew I'd make a strike. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter, and knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you.
Right.
Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machine.
Grab
Now let's
and
take a look
attack.
at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together, and your machine has 3 points of combat power. My machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine can do 3 points of damage. Go ahead and...
Right, got it. Killed
There
thing.
you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front of my... Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it, which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points. If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses to deal damage to several pieces are useful, right? Okay, now go ahead, and there's still one more thing I want to show you.
Okay, let's just hurry through.
All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy now.
Right, let's see.
Here for
Last
more
tutorial.
tips. Why don't I tell you a bit more about the In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we? All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can... Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this.
Oh dear.
See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece, a dash type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked at all the machine types yet. But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so it's got all the tips and tricks we talked about, too. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to
Okay. So we've got a glossary, and oh god, there's like a whole thing. Right, that's simple enough. Notes. Type. Well, name, type, victory points, image, and weak points. Yep. Skill, attack power, attack range, movement, and health, and yep, active effects. Oh yeah, okay. Machine types. Swoop. Always attacks the first machine within its attack range and moves next to it. Gains +1 combat power on all terrains, and you can ignore all terrain penalties. Okay. So melee, first machine, ram, first machine, attack range and knocks it backwards, and then moves onto the terrain that leaves behind. So that like knocks you off your spot and moves forward, right? Swoop attacks the first machine with its range, moves next to it. Gains +1 combat power on all terrains and can ignore all terrain penalties. Gunner attacks at the maximum of its attack range. Dash moves to the end and damages every machine in its path, including your own, and rotates them at 180 degrees. It must have an empty terrain to land on at the end of the attack range in order to attack, so it goes through, basically. Ram pushes back, dash goes through. Pull, always attack the first machine in its attack range and pull it towards an enemy. Always attacks the first one in its attack range, pulls the enemy one terrain closer to it, gains +1 combat power while on marsh terrain, and can traverse through it without hindering its movement. So that's probably like crocodiles and that, I bet. Yep. And get that. If combat power of a machine is lower than or equal to the opposing, both use once and help. When a machine is knocked back, they will move to knock back. Okay. Overcharging in order to move an extra terrain or attack. So overcharge, you can move one or attack. Okay. Skills. Empower. Blind. So they lose 1 attack power. Effects can stack, so all within attack range. Empower at the start of each turn, all friendly machines within attack range gain 1 attack power. Effects can stack. Alright, I get the general gist. Let's have a proper set then. We'll have a proper game. Boom.
Here we go. Time to make my move. That's it for me. Just one piece left.
Right.
My turn. Lucky me, you hit armor.
Not this time though. And we'll end the turn.
Let's see.
Actually, I could have just overcharged and finished it then, but whatever.
Your move, Red. Ah, looks like I lost.
I get some shards. Well, that was worthless. Okay, let's try medium.
Let's play.
Oh, so we've got Burrower, Landshorn. Okay, let's try up on the mountains again. When attacking from a hill terrain, gain +1 combat power.
Come up. Board's all yours. Time to get serious. You're up, Red.
Let's sprint them.
Okay, let's see. You have to admit, that was impressive.
Let's try that then.
My turn.
Ooh.
Knocked right off the board. Your turn. Hey! Oh, that was the perfect spot.
-2 on that one. Yeah, that works.
One less piece on the board.
Okay.
Time to get serious.
This is gonna hurt like hell.
Board's all yours.
Let's get that one, I guess.
That was brutal.
That'd do it. It'd kill one, wouldn't it?
You got me down to one piece. I am impressed.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt like hell.
Well, that's done now. Oh, I won! Probably shouldn't sound so surprised, huh? This
But we're gonna retry
is
it.
gonna be fun.
I think I need to focus less on putting them on the mountains and just kind of roll with it. I think if I catch that center ground, perhaps. Yeah.
You're up, Red.
Let's move them there. Now, if they moved here, they can't attack me. But if I were here, or there, they could. So let's move to here. And
Come
call
on.
that a turn.
Your move, Red.
Oh, they've got, yeah, 2 range. It's a lanthorn, that. Okay. You are going to feel a world of pain.
Ah, off the board it goes.
Can't really do much there. I could do a reasonable attack there. That's not bad. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go with an attack there. And sod it.
Time to make my move.
Oh, I was going to overcharge and I pressed the wrong button. Oh well.
Your turn.
Get him. Oh. Get him.
Knocked right off the board.
And end turn.
Come up.
This will hurt. Ow.
Ah, off the board it goes. That's it for me.
Well, time for them to feel a world of pain.
I got a tough fight ahead of me.
Let's try it.
I always get nervous when
Yeah,
I
I have the
overcharge
high
my
ground now.
pieces.
Oh, can I not? Can I not overcharge them? Because if I could overcharge them, I could probably get the kill this turn. Right, let's just use one of these to kinda cover the
Time
flanks.
to get serious.
Or just lose both of them in a single turn like a
That
moron.
was brutal. Guess luck's not on your
Jesus
side today,
Christ.
Red.
I thought, oh, I'm covering a weak spot
Good
there, and I
luck.
forget that they knock into each other like a moron. Right, let's try that again. And she is getting really obnoxious and annoying now. Right, let's try that.
Time to make my move. That's it for me.
Right.
My turn.
Try that. So they're gonna go to the sides. Yeah.
You're up,
They're
Red.
gonna move up. And now we've got this one surrounded. Better still. Really hit him.
Well, that's done now.
Right. And let's end the
Okay.
turn there.
Let's see.
I've got 3 pieces left. Oh god, that really hurt like hell apparently.
One less
And
piece on the
they've
board.
flanked me. Right, okay.
was hoping you wouldn't do that.
They'll get him in the back if I do that. But I'm probably going to lose this piece soon anyway. At least I get them off the high ground.
That was a surprise.
So they're going to get killed, as expected.
Ah, off the board it goes.
Then they can't really do anything else. But I can kill them.
That was brutal.
That'll get the kill.
A single machine left? That ain't good. Now that
Well, the charge
was a
take
game,
4 turns
even
in
if I
one.
lost.
Why not? Lovely stuff. Good to see. Let's try the hard one.
Let's do this.
Right. So we've got a burrower, Lancehorn, Scrounger. So we've got... Okay, so it's melee type. It's got extra movement, so we'll have them as like a forward vanguard. They should be able to move up to the centre right away then. There's some burrows over here. I should put my Lancehorns over here.
Time to get serious.
Now what
Your
are these?
turn.
Well, this is obvious. Ooh.
Hey, I like that piece where it was.
Right, that's one dealt with.
Well, that's done now.
And we've got a Scrounger here. That's not great, nor is that. What's on the lower ground? So if you keep your flanks on lower ground, they're fairly protected, aren't they? It would seem. That there, that's a Lancehorn, so it would take the ground if I move that up. So I shouldn't really bother. I'll take this though,
I'm
and
up.
then my turn there. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the backside, yep. But
Knocked right off the board. One less piece on the board.
I've got him. Got a Lancehorn there. Scrounger should be able to take that.
Now that was a smart move.
And I meant to overcharge
Your
it last
move,
time,
Red.
but pressed the wrong button again. For some reason I thought that would kill. try that.
Thank the forge you hit armor. That
Take him
was
out early.
brutal. Knocked right off the board. One less piece on the board.
Right, so let's see what this one can do.
Okay, let's see. Board's all yours.
This should be interesting.
You are on a roll. Just one piece left. That sure dampens the forge. You
Well, I
got
annihilated
me.
this
Fair
one.
and square.
Absolutely annihilated that. Few metal shards. What else have we got left? Oh, we're on the final one. Regular challenge. Rewards some metal shards. Okay, let's give it a go then. Right. What we're looking at then. Oh, I get to choose. Let's have a look. The burrowers aren't very good. I do like the scrappers. They've got a bit of extra range and... Oh, it's the scroungers I'm thinking of that I was using last time, isn't it? The scroungers. So yeah, you have to create a new set for this one and stuff. Right. Fanghorn. When attacking from mountain, gain +1. When attacking from hill terrain, gain +1. When attacking from grassland, get +1. Mountains and hills aren't that common, but grasslands are. The gunners are pretty good. I've still got a lot of setup points left, so... I don't like the... Well, these are probably better than taking, say, a burrower, just because... Oh, mind you, they have 2 victory points. I can probably have both of these and then one of these as well. And I think hills are more common than mountains, so we'll go with that. Right.
Here we go.
Okay.
My turn.
Right.
Board's all yours.
I'm attacking from a hill. That's gonna hurt like hell.
Oh, seriously?
Overcharge it.
Well, that's done now.
Get extra turns in. Okay. When attacking from grassland. Right. They've got to do
Time
something.
to make my move.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt. I assume they're probably gonna follow that up, aren't they? Yeah.
Ah, off the board it goes.
They are not overcharging as nearly as much as they ought to be. Right.
That was a surprise. One less piece on the board. Knocked right off the board.
Right. Let's end our turn there. I'll lose that piece,
Okay, let's see.
but then they have to approach me, and I'll have the first strike advantage then.
You're up, Red.
Oh, that's gonna hurt like hell.
Ah, off the board it goes. That was brutal. Your turn.
Right, doesn't have a skill. Let's have a look though. What can you do with you? Yeah, let's try. That could work, I guess.
Time to make my move.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, that's done now.
Ooh,
That's it for me.
Get
Well,
him.
spark my forge. You have beaten me on every one of my boards. Now that deserves a prize, I say.
bristleback strike piece. Ah, interesting. Well, bit of a diversion
find
from the
me,
main quest there. But that does take us to about nearly the hour mark. So, after this little board game there, it's time to get back on track and figure out what the hell's been going off out here. Right. Thank you very much for watching. Been a bit of something different there. Regular scheduled machine murdering. We'll be back next time. I hope to see you there.